Here, the first thing we want to do is practice this notation, f of a. What does that mean? F of a plus h. What does that mean? And we'll do two examples of actually finding the slope of a curve at a point. So if f of x is some function of x, f of a just means take all the x's in that rule and replace them with a's. F of a plus h means take all the x's and replace them with a plus h. You might like to keep a plus h in parentheses. So here's the first example. If f of x is 1 over x, f of a is just 1 over a. Replace the x with an a. And f of a plus h is 1 over a plus h. So pause the video now and try the rest of those practice problems right there. So this was the definition we came up with in the last set, how to find the curve, the slope of a curve at a particular point. If we then use that slope and write the equation of a line that contains the point, that's called the tangent to the function, or the tangent line equation. If somebody asked you to write the normal line, normal means perpendicular, so use the same point but use the opposite reciprocal slope to find a perpendicular line. This is the example at the bottom of the third page in your notes packet. If f of x is negative 16x squared, find the slope of f at x equals 5. So I start with my definition for slope of a curve at a point. I know a is going to equal 5, I've been told. So x was supposed to get squared. That means here 5 plus h needs to get squared. Remember we said we're going to multiply that out. So 5 plus h times 5 plus h makes the 25 plus 10h plus h squared. You can simplify that numerator. Notice the 400s cancel. That's normal. Watch for that to happen. And I can factor out the numerator. Remember I have this problem of an h in the denominator giving me a 0 in the denominator. But I can factor an h out of the top. It cancels with the h in the denominator. And I can finally plug in 0 for h to get the slope is equal to negative 160. If I'm then asked to find the equation for the tangent line, I just need to use point-slope form for the equation of a line. I know the slope is going to be negative 160. I know my x value has been given to be 5. I just need the y value to go with that x. So plug x equals 5 into your f of x formula to find that the y is negative 400. So you can see I have my tangent line equation there in the bottom in green. This last example is on the last page of your packet. What if f of x equals 1 over x, and I want to find the slope not at a particular x value, but at some abstract x value. I'm going to call it a. So I can still do this problem. Watch what happens. I'll start with my definition. It's the limit as h approaches 0 of f of a plus h minus f of a all over h. Here I have 1 over a plus h. We just practiced this at the beginning of the video, right? And minus 1 over a. We remember from 2.1 that one technique we can use when we have a 0 over 0 problem when we take a limit is to try to get a common denominator. We're going to change this into multiplication by the reciprocal of the denominator instead of a division problem. So to get a common denominator for the top, I multiply the first fraction by a over a, the second fraction by a plus h over a plus h. And now I finally have a common denominator in that numerator. Now I can subtract in the numerator. Don't forget to distribute the subtraction. And instead of dividing by h, I'm going to write this as multiplication by 1 over h. So this is where I am up here. Notice the h's now can cancel. I have a negative h in the numerator, cancels with an h in the denominator. And I can finally plug in 0 for h, leaving me negative 1 over a squared. Now if I want to find the slope of the curve f of x when x equals 2, I already have an expression for the slope of the curve at some abstract a value. I'm just going to let a equal 2. So if I know m is negative 1 over a squared, I'll plug in 2 for a. M is negative 1/4. So the slope of the curve at x equals 2 is negative 1/4. Try these last two. If I want to write the equation of the tangent line, again I need the y value, plug 2 in for x. 1 over 2 makes a half, so my y value is 1/2. Y minus 1/2 equals negative 1/4 x minus 2. Notice to get the equation for the normal line, the only change I make is I need to use the opposite reciprocal of my slope. The opposite reciprocal of negative 1/4 is 4.